Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers, where we take a look at the in-game news for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, see what's coming out this week, and talk about how to get ready for it. This being a Clash of Wills week means that we're going to do one of our bigger videos where we talk about all the different killers and elemental supports and things like that. But before we get into that, there's a couple of things that we want to talk about. First and foremost, that we do have a new unit. No real new information being given to us that they didn't already go over in the live stream, but we do get to see Barrel's sprite even bigger than ever. They also tell us about that there's a step up with a card. Frankly, I don't think the card sounds that interesting, and maybe even not even that good for Barrel. So I'm not 100% sure how I want to go about this, and I'm not even 100% sure how I feel about Barrel. I want to see the kit and get more information before I decide, but I will say I have a tendency to really love the Christmas units just because they're cute. So I'll probably throw some tickets or something at Barrel, but we've got video summons every day and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see how Barrel looks on Thursday and see what that looks like. I guess that's tomorrow at this point. I'm recording this video kind of late. Yeah, Barrel. So cool. No new real information other than the live stream, which initially seemed kind of underwhelming to me. We also know that there's a new step up for Elena and Elisperis, which is pretty cool because Elisperis and Elena are both getting buffs, so I'm really glad that they're being rerun. You can also get some of these vision cards. This Reagan one I've used before. Pretty cool. We're getting a story update. Yay. Season 4 story, and basically Lapis. Lapis is always good, so go get you some Lapis. Beat the story. Season 4 seems to focus on like demons and machines and stuff like that, so probably some demon and machine killer you probably need, but that's not really the exciting thing. The exciting thing that we're going to talk about is Clash of Wills, and it's the Yeti of unknown origin. Its sprite is a little more menacing looking here than we saw in the live stream, with his like weird kind of red and dark black color or dark blue color palette, and like all these weird artifacts on his horns, and now he has 3 red eyes instead of 2 blue ones, and pretty menacing looking. I think it's I don't think it looks that abominable. I like the one that they showed on the live stream a little better, honestly. With the blue claws and stuff like that. Anyway, no new information here either, other than what they told us on the live stream. So it has weakness to earth, lightning, and fire. And looking at the details here, we know that it does earth, ice, and non-elemental magic attacks. It counters if you don't deal weakness damage. It counters if you don't use an LB on certain turns. It inflicts paralysis and stone. There's also no turn limit. If we scroll down, we can see that there's a final morale score instead, and your morale is filled by you amping earth, fire, or lightning damage. One status effect per unit per turn. So every time you amp fire or whatever, it's gonna like boost your morale, which is good. So that's pretty much it, other than they told us the details that these items are going to be available in the shop for Xenostone. Honestly, I love all of these. I have most of them. I don't have all of them, but there are definitely a lot of good ones here. Depending on how much these are, I think it's definitely worth it to grab a couple of them. Reclaim Serenity. I love the Mystic Acuities. The Cyclopedia Mythicas that they showed on the live stream are really good. Cold Current is another one that's really good. Very high ice and water resistance. I'm a fan of the masteries. Like all these are good, honestly. Like just depending on how much they cost, bearing in mind that a new item is probably coming out soon, it might be worth it to save your Xenostone, because if there's a new item, we know that it costs at least 3,500 to get all the way to plus 10, let alone the advanced versions. So yeah. Nothing new in the shop, nothing new here, just Clash of Wills type stuff. So let's talk a little bit about this. We usually do these longer videos where we talk about the different racial supports and killer supports and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now, and we'll see what we can come up with. So let me get this out of here and go over to our list. As usual, I'm gonna post this list in the comments as well. We've got our list of, where did it go? Of course, it's not showing up now. Oh gosh. Bear with me here 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to find it. We've got our list of supports that we're kind of working on making this like growing document of killer supports and stuff like that. So we'll start out talking about the killers, Beast, Demon, and Human. Beast is one that we've done before, so not too hard to make this list. Samurai Chizuru, White Dragon Ling, Curse of Immunity Melissa, Dark Lineage Fina, Lara Croft, self-only killers, of course. Ihana has killers at EX3 or EX2 for Omni killers, so that's really kind of good for everybody. White Mage Rosa at EX3 has a Beast Killer buff. Eldrin, Cheerful Caroler Ayaka has a one-time use Beast Killer buff. Rain and Fina, that unit, Rain and Fina has a Beast Killer buff. Various Neovisions Reigns has a Beast Killer. Nora, Divine Beast Chow has a self-only. Serge has a party buff, and Lunar Festival Cleome has a one-time killer buff for Beast as well as Demon. So lots of options for Beast Killer, not as many as Demon and Human, but still lots of options you can kind of work into a party. Depending on what element you're focusing on, Melissa's probably the best choice of the available killers for Beast. As far as Demon goes, Vermilion Class 0 Deuce, Dark Lineage Fina, Kaito has his awesome party buff for Clash of Wills. Bulwark, Aya Brea has self buffs. Esther has some party buffs that are a little less strong. Dark Fina Warrior's Prayer has a good one. Paladin Sylvie has a good one. Blade of Vengeance Ibarra has a good one for the whole party. Malphasie, Vilk, Ayaka, again, Lunar Festival Cleome, those are both one-time use. So Vilks has a small one for the party and a big one for himself. Starlight Alina, Fina the Return, Dark Fina and Soul. Bahimi actually has some Demon Killer as well. Disciple of Aven Leona, and Richt has self buffs. So Demon, lots of options, and a lot of the options for Demon are very similar to the Human options. Notably, Ibarra has the same party buff for Demon and Human. But we also got some options for Human, like In2B, Yoshikiri, White Dragon Ling, again, Aya Brea, Blade of Vengeance Ibarra, Curse of Immunity Melissa has Human Killer, Starlight Alina has Human Killer, Have, Veritas of the Frost Dark Lineage, that's the old one, Red-Eyed Sage Soul, Lion, Dark Fina Warrior's Prayer on this one as well. Axstar and Cleome, Besaid Mage Lulu on her LB, Ihana has Human Rune, Fina the Return, Flaring Ether Rain for himself only, Lara Croft for herself only, and Ravenastra's, or no. Yeah. Vaughn. Youth from Ravenastra Vaughn. That's what it's called. Has a Human Killer buff on his LB as well. So, lots and lots of options. Human is one of the more common ones. But as far as overlaps go, like I said, White Dragon Ling has Beast Killer, Human Killer, and Fire support. Sylvie has Demon Killer, Earth support, Lightning support. Lots of overlap there. Melissa has Beast and Human, and General Morale support. Ibarra is Demon and Human. Cleome is Beast and Demon. Ayaka is as well. So lots of overlap there. So as far as like picking your races for killer buffing, or your units for killer buffing, we've got a lot of choices. Elemental support's a little bit different. We do have 3 elements again. You don't have to go to the 4 this time, just 3. But we've got a bunch of options for Earth in Paladin Sylvie in terms of amplifies for the whole party. Tulian has just Earth damage as well as an Earth Amplify field and a good break. Tsukiko has an Earth damage and an Imperil field. Unknown Hero Ramza has a leader skill and just decent damage. Steadfast Knight Agrias has breaks and an Imperil field. Denial of Focus Vanille has breaks and Imperil field. Neovision's Ferris has an Amplify field, but otherwise not a whole lot else. Challenger of Fate Hope has an Amplify field. Ihana has a decent Earth Leader skill, but not very good by today's standards, as well as some Earth damage. Snavlinka No, so not Ihana. Snovlinka has a leader skill and some damage. Ihana has like earth support and killer buffs. Ridar is a magic tank that does earth damage. Also has an earth amp field. Graf is just an earth damage dealer. Avon has breaks in peril field. Yuffie is just damage. Sonnen is just damage. Napi is technically morale based earth damage in Clash of Wills. King Bahimi has some earth support, very minimal, as well as Vilk. Diverti also has an amp field and is a magic tank. Roka and Roka Dark Lineage have earth support and earth damage. And also the free unit, Radiant Smile Addison Ray, has the ability to imbue earth for your party and fills morale and does some morale based damage. So like that's the free unit. Just kind of funny that she made our list. And that's the earth units that we can kind of think of out loud. As far as lightning goes, you know, Sylvie, Orlandu, Agrius, Vanille, all from the other list as well. Well, not all of them. Orlandu wasn't, but the others were. But also adding to this, Zaz, Dark Lineage Sakura, Sage of Thunder Sakura, Ferris again, with an amplify field, Ruin Explorer Nora. It's an imperil field for lightning as well as Beast Killer, so that's kind of nice. Wondrous Flash Lightning has a leader skill for lightning. Angela is just breaks. Zack is also damage. Albed Girl Riku has imbues for lightning. Stormseeker Esther has lightning support and does lightning damage if you use her own skills. Reno NVA is a really decent budget breaker with a big lightning imperil and like 88 breaks. Not bad for free. Cloud Strife and Remake Cloud are just damage. Kelger is damage and a human killer buff. Hero Die, just damage. Determined Dagger has a huge amplify field at 50%. And then Avon, of course, as we already mentioned, for elements for Earth. And then Fire. Fire is a lot like last month. You know, it didn't really even adjust the list, but Blade of Black Flame Reagan, White Dragon Ling, Shrine Maiden Tsukiko, Roberta Ignitos, Lena for field, Zaz and Vanille for fire support in general are very good. Leftia, Lunar Festival Cleome, Marine type Runda, Rain Neovisions, Valerian Ether Rain, Dynast King Scion Ash, Deuce again, Avon, Disciple of Avon Leona, Fina Dark Lineage, Abigail, Aerith and Red 13, Kid, Youth from Ravenastor Vaughn, and Red Mage Ingus all have, you know, some sort of fire support that you can bring. Although, honestly, if you're bringing fire, you're probably also talking about Hyo and Panthera Ultimus, who are going to be new to the list, because this list was made before they existed. And we'll take a look at some teams in just a minute, and you'll see that Hyo is on that list. So there you go. Now, as far as what else you need for this fight, according to the update, we know we need a magic tank that does earth and ice support. And here's some units that either have earth or ice or both, and might be able to fill some roles for you. You know, Eternal Radiance Elena has ice resistance naturally in her kit, can be geared pretty easily for both earth and ice, and does ice support. So potential unit there, as well as just being a good leader and able to do some damage. Master Machinist Abigail has both elements naturally in her kit, and as well as just a super good tank. Chow has not really a whole lot of either one of those elements, so you have to kind of gear him for it. But he does fill morale off of counters, which is sometimes nice. Shoreline, Fina, and Daisy, one of their forms is earth-based, and as such has a big earth resistance buff. Neovision Cecil, Redwing Cecil has natural resistance to both elements. Ridar has natural resistance to both elements and also has a big earth amplify. Sorry, not earth amplify. Well, yes, earth amplify, but also an earth resistance buff. And then Diverti has some buffs and the amplify field as well, and is a magic tank. So like you've got options for lots of those units. As far as paralysis and stone immunity, so many units have stuff like this. You know, Paladin Sylvie, Curse of Immunity Melissa, they have like skills that do it. Abigail, Ihana, Ramza have the spell Veil, which allows you to become immune, as does Challenger of Fate Hope. Kresnik has an ability that gives you immunity to all those things, as well as filling morale and doing other good stuff. He's also got Human Killer and Human Mitigation, technically. Divine Beast Chow has a skill that lets you be immune to those statuses. But then anybody could kind of like deal with it. So like Riku's Pouch allows you to heal those things. Jade Moon Pendant, if you have it, allows you to cast an ability that makes you immune to those things. And again, Radiant Smile Addison Ray has a skill that allows you to become immune to those things. So she's on the Earth list and the Paralysis and Stone list. And then someone brought up Solitary Patron Snow. This is actually going to be more of a magic tank thing. His shift form is a magic tank, and while he is a magic tank with pretty good damage or pretty good defense, and actually ice support as well, he's an ice unit. If he dies in his shift form, he comes back in his base form when you re-raise him, and so that's potentially dangerous. So be careful using Snow, because he's not a magic tank by default. There you go. So in terms of our contributors to tonight's discussion, we'll go ahead and pop those up here. We've got Harvey Tudent, Azamar 81, Sire Occult, Jigs, Mr. Roy, Nami Nom Nom, MK Ultra, Vito 10,000, VMAX 262, and Thanatos. Thank you guys for your support as we put our list together, and helping us to kind of put some teams together as well. So what we're going to do next, now that we've talked about the killers, the elemental supports, and the other things you might need for this fight, we're going to show you some sample teams. Now, full disclaimer as usual, I don't know if these teams are going to work. I don't know if these teams are particularly good. But we're going to take a look at 4 different teams that we threw together on stream tonight, just to give you some ideas of how you might be able to work some of this together. Also, none of these teams are geared yet, so just bear with me here. This team is an example of a team that you could potentially run to maybe get just through level 99. So just to kind of give you an example of what everyone's doing, Addison Ray is doing status immunity as well as earth support for the party. She's casting like the spell that gives everybody earth abilities or earth damage. Ling is here for killers for beast and human. Kaito is here for breaks and for demon killer. Ling also can do like mirage stacks if you need it. She can also do LB fill. She can do morale fill. She can do a bunch of different things for you. And Kaito can do, breaks as well as damage, as well as imperils, as well as, he can fill some morale as well. Snavlinka's basically just here as a leader and doing damage. Napi's here because Napi can do morale-based damage. That's Bolting Strike, as is Diverti, who's a magic tank. And Earth Support has the Earth Amp. So kind of like filling in the gaps of this is a team that could potentially work together to get you a level 99 clear. And in fact, this is going to be the team that I try to do a level 99 clear. And I'll try to get that out sooner than the last day, unlike last month. So we'll try and get that out sooner so people might be able to benefit from it. And this is the team that I'm going to try and do level 99 with as an actual clear of level 99. But let's take a look at some other teams that might be able to work a little bit differently. Here's an example of an Earth team. In this case, Sylvie is providing us with Demon Killer. Chizuru is providing us with Damage and Beast Killer. Sylvie's also doing immunities, elemental resistance buffs. Chizuru has some buffs for us as well as being able to generally do some damage. Tulian is here to do Earth Imperil, Earth Damage, Earth Amplify. Ramza's here to lead the party. Mine's only EX1. You really want him to be EX2, so hopefully you've got the ability to have your Ramza be EX2 if you're going to do something like this. And then because I don't have the new barrel yet, we've got Tsukiko here for the Imperil field. Although barrel doesn't amplify field, so Tsukiko probably still fit. Maybe you have to replace him with maybe somebody else. Probably replace Chizuru here, because they did mention that barrel has Beast Killer in the kit as well as Earth Damage, so probably a better fit than Chizuru. And then Abigail's here for our magic tank, and can kind of fill the role of, imbuing the party with fire with one of her actions. So you could gain morale that way. She can also do dispels on the boss and breaks on the boss, and just generally being good at magic tanking. So that's kind of an example of an earth team that you could run. And notice that Ramza is only buffing in this case, really only buffing 5 out of 6 units because Chizuru does not fit. But if we had Beryl would fill in for Chizuru and get Ramza's leader skill, just as an example. Let's take a look at another team. We're going to talk about Lightning. So on this party, we've got Lightning, Wondrous Flash Lightning as our leader, and then we've got, Sylvie here for the same reasons. In this case, we've got 2B here for doing damage and human killer buff. We've got Elisperis for breaking, and she's gonna be getting her new buffs on Thursday. That includes a lightning imperil field. Not a huge one, but it is there. So between her breaks and her lightning imperil, she might be able to serve a role here for us. And then we've got Esther to put up the LB damage field on the ally side. So your goal there is to put her field up and then put Elisperis' field up so they both stack and work together. So you've got both those in place. Abigail's here for the same reasons that she was before. Again, I don't know if this is specifically going to work, but it does have an ally field and an enemy field, and support for 2 out of the 3 races for killers, and lightning damage. Sylvie's is kind of got that good for us, as well as her big leaping love skill. So lots of options. But as far as teams go, I don't feel like this is my best team. My best option, I think, is going to be Fire at the current time, and here's what that looks like. So for Fire, I switched out and I'm bringing Melissa instead, because Melissa's going to do Beast Killer and Human Killer, and then other stuff like the immunities and then resistances, and she's got these skills that allow us to boost modifiers and stat buffs and all that fun stuff. And then I've got a little flexibility, so I put Dwayne and Cleome here just because they do gear pretty well for these races and have 150 amps. But if you've got Ayabrea, honestly, replacing Cleome with Ayabrea is probably gonna be a good choice. I'm kind of thinking leaving Dwayne here just because Dwayne does have arcane supplementation. But as far as the rest of the party, Kaito has Demon Killer, which is going to round out all 3, because then we'll have Human, Beast, and Demon, as well as just doing like breaks and morale fill and other stuff that Kaito does. Hyo obviously here is our leader, and is going to be doing Fire in Peril, and can do breaks, can do the field, can do all the stuff that you want Hyo to do. And then Elena as our tank instead of Abigail. In this case, because I wanted to bring somebody who would benefit from... Why was that? Oh, I remember why. I'm bringing Elena here because Elena's going to put up the stat buff field on the party side. So we'll have an enemy side in peril and a stat buff party field on our side, because I don't have a fire amp field that I really wanted to bring, that I think would work well as far as like what I had and what would contribute in a meaningful way. That's better than nothing. But honestly, like I said, I'm looking at this team, and where I'm thinking about making a swap is either swapping out Cleome or Dwayne for Ayabrea, because my Ayabrea is able to come on this party. I thought it was neat to have a full EX3 team for once, and I wanted to show that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for a fire team, and probably the one that I think will work best of the 4 teams that I've kind of slapped together here. But I will try to do that level 99 clear with that first team. That way we can just test the proof of concept and see if it'll work. But of course, this is all going to change theoretically when we see what this boss does on Thursday. We don't know for sure if these teams are going to work or if they're going to, but they seem to work, at least in theory, like working cohesively. And none of these units are geared yet, so I don't want to like tell you exactly what we need because I don't know yet. These are just kind of like talking about what their kits do and and that. So hopefully that's useful information for you. And these are kind of some teams that I think could maybe work. Honestly, the Earth team's going to get a lot better probably if you have Barrel. The Lightning team, in my opinion, is kind of the weakest link of the three, just because, yeah, not a whole lot of great lightning damage dealers that have Clash of Will support. But who knows? We'll see. In the meantime, I do hope that's been useful for you, and I'm curious to hear what kinds of teams you guys are thinking of running. Tell me if I'm missing something. Tell me if I'm making mistakes. Tell me if you think you got it figured out better. I'm happy to hear it. And thank you again to everybody who contributed to our discussion as far as like what units kind of fill these different roles. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what the new information is on Barrel here later tonight, because technically it's Wednesday now, not Tuesday. But in the meantime, you guys be good to each other. Take care. We'll see you on Thursday, probably for some ticket pulls, if nothing else, because I'm kind of a sucker for the Christmas units. We'll see. But in the meantime, like I said, be good to each other. Take care, and we will see you on Thursday.